Wagwan. So apparently Shallon Lester has been saying that the reason why people on YouTube are talking about her right now is because they're looking for clout. No, it's not because they've seen a pattern from her of just being a terrible human and just her making up lies about a bunch of different celebrities and talking shit about people with mental health issues. No, it's because they're looking for clout. Isn't that a fantastic excuse that a lot of people like to throw out? Oh, they're just looking for clout. Nothing they're saying is actually valid. It's only for clout. Well, Shallon, I have no clout to gain from this, and my videos aren't even monetized, so yeah, nothing to gain at all. And hate to break it to you, or maybe I love to break it to you, Shallon, but your name doesn't carry enough weight for anyone to use it to ride your coattail all the way to Cloud City. It doesn't work like that, honey. You know who actually have clout? The people who you talk about constantly, like Taylor Swift, Selena Gomez, Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, Meghan Markle, and Harry. Those people actually have clout. I was a subscriber to Shallon, mainly because her videos popped up in my recommendation once. I think she was talking about Taylor Swift. And occasionally I would drop in and see what she had to say about X celebrity or this and that. Sometimes I cringed. And sometimes I was like, okay, who are you getting this information about this celebrity from? Okay, you have a source. Oh, you work for Star Magazine? I mean, they're not really known to be very reputable now, are they? Like, oh, you worked for Star Magazine. Worked, as in the past, and you were an editor at one point, and now you're not. Did they let you go because you were making up stories? Like, what happened there? I was always curious. A lot of people attributing this call out of Shallon Lester to D'angelo Wallace, and I have to say I really enjoyed D'angelo Wallace's breakdown of the whole situation. I find it very interesting that Shallon Lester chose to respond to D'angelo Wallace and even made up lies about him, saying that he doxed her, instead of going after other people who talk about her. Instead of actually addressing any of the claims that he made in this video, which his video was very, very well done and well researched. The reason why I find it so interesting is because D'Angelo's video only came out about a week ago, and Shallon responded to it, which is interesting because Abbott and Preach made a video about her, even calling her dumb, a month ago. I'm editing and I see that I said that Abbott and Preach made one video on Shallon Lester about a month ago, but actually I went back and checked. They made 2 videos about Shallon Lester a month ago, and they went deeper than calling her dumb, so that was my bad for saying all of that stuff. Yeah, back to the video. But she never said anything. She never responded to Abbott and Preach. Or it wasn't actually out in public if she ever did respond to Abbott and Preach. They did a whole breakdown of her talking about men who are rich and how they could be ugly. And she used Ed Sheeran as an example, which I'm just like, how is Ed Sheeran ugly? Like, I'm not saying Ed Sheeran is the hottest dude in Hollywood, but he's not ugly. He blows my freaking mind how she went on in that video, but that's beside the point. I mean, I guess it is the point, showing how trash she's been to a lot of these celebrities. But my point is, she chose to go after D'Angelo Wallace instead of Abbott and Preach because Abbott and Preach has a different demographic than D'Angelo Wallace does. See, if D'Angelo point out that Shallon is a terrible person, it affects Shallon's bottom line more than if Abbott and Preach does. Simply because D'Angelo catered to a younger audience, mainly people between the ages of, I'm gonna assume, around 16 through 25. And Abbott and Preach have a more older, more mature audience. So when they have an audience of around 22 to maybe 50 something, it's completely different than Shallon's audience. So a lot of Shallon's audience probably never saw Abba and Preach's video, which Abba and Preach had more subscribers than D'Angelo at the time of D'Angelo's video. I mean, on his D'angelo Wallace channel. So her subscribers are now seeing D'Angelo and they're like, oh, so D'Angelo is making a point. And they're going back to Shallon and asking her to take accountability for her bullshit, and she's deciding not to take accountability. But she never went back and said anything to Abba and Preach because, they're well grown and their audience is more grown. So if they find out that she's a shitty person, it doesn't matter because she's not thinking about being a predator, allegedly. You see that, Shallon? That's what you call covering your ass when you say allegedly. So she can't be a predator to Abba and Preach's audience, but her praise are in D'Angelo's audience. So she has to protect her ass in that way by going after D'Angelo and try to make him seem like he doesn't have any credibility, which all we've seen from her is that she has no credibility. So she could say the sky's falling, and trust me, we've learned from Chicken Little not to take that for granted, but we wouldn't even believe you, Shallon, if you said that, because you have a track record of telling a bunch of lies. What I actually want from Shallon Lester is for her to actually take accountability. See, your brain might be wired in a different way where you don't see that the things that you do are quite shitty. Well, here are a bunch of YouTubers coming together to tell you that your shitty behavior is not welcome on this platform. Please change. Please change. You can make videos about celebrities without telling lies about them. You can make videos about relationship advice without telling people to cheat. Like, that's pretty darn easy. A lot of people on YouTube have made videos about dating without actually telling people that, yeah, you should definitely cheat. Just because you do something, like you perform a bad behavior in your life, it doesn't mean that you go around telling young, impressionable people that the best way for them to be a human is to be shitty. It just doesn't work like that. So, as a former subscriber of yours, Shallon, be better.